Hey, yo, what's good, gang? It's your boy Luminati15, and you have just tuned in to DPG TV, Talk That Shit podcast. You know the fucking vibes. 2025, we starting off strong, and I'm bringing y'all a party legend to the scene. Not his first time on the platform, but definitely the first time on the cast. You know the fucking vibes. Let them know who you are, man.
Yes, sir. Leader of the new school, voice of the new generation. If you don't know, I go by the name of J-Walker. What's
Y'all
up, my
know
boy?
what it is, man.
Thank you for having me.
No doubt,
Appreciate
man.
you,
Nah,
Bob.
thank you for coming on the platform, blessing us with your time, man. But for y'all, man, I'm doing this specifically for the 90s babies. If you was born from 93 up, you've been to one of this man's events. You've been to Tropicana. You've been to Sofa Lounge. You've been to Fuego, a whole bunch of that. The whole ENT movement literally has passed through this man's hands right here.
Sky Ballroom, too.
And
That
Sky,
was
look
legendary.
at that.
Ballroom. You ain't been to the ballroom. You ain't get hit by a table ladder or a chair. You ain't been to a party.
I've heard the stories.
I've
heard the stories.
Story.
You know, my father used to put belt to ass, so I didn't really get the privilege to attend these events. But I've heard the stories through my sister. I lived vicariously through her. She's right now at Tech. But let's get into it, man. Let's start off with your upbringing, bro. Tell me where you came from, what part of the Bronx you grew up in, schools, if you want to share that personal information. Like, what was it like for J-Walker coming up in the Bronx?
That's crazy, yeah. So I was born and raised, obviously, in the Bronx, New York. I went to, public school, 1st through 5th, Catholic school, 6th through 8th. And then high school, I went to Clinton, freshman year. And then 10th through 12th, I left a boarding school out in Exton, PA. That was a whole different experience. But, yeah, as far as the education-wise, but, or.
All right, so tell me, man, because I know you've been in this game 15, close to 20 years now. And how is it that somebody from the Bronx comes up with the opportunity like you have? You know what I'm saying? You're young, you got money, you got influence. Most likely you have power over the masses because, you know, all you have to say is be here at this time and date and people was there. How did you go from Bronx teenager to party powerhouse?
Damn. I mean, it started off, everything starts somewhere. For me, it started off throwing team parties in basements and halls, anything that I could get to bring people together in a room just to create a vibe. It went from that to nightclubs, lounges, to even bigger events. And then just branching out, networking, you know, not only throwing events, starting companies, business owner. I got 3 companies, clothing line, pet company, WalkerNYC.com, Bougie Bar. It's just about building the brand. I would say that's my best advice. Building the brand and then taking it somewhere that, you, like he said, you don't really got to go crazy. You say one word and that's what it is. But nothing happens overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. And you just got to set your mind on something, be disciplined, self-discipline. That's the hardest shit. And stay consistent. I love what you're doing, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So tell me, man, because we have some clips that we're gonna show y'all a little bit later on. But how does it feel to be a 14, 15-year-old young man in the Bronx and have influence? You know, how was it being influential, being, you know what I'm saying, you got so many around you that's making you successful that's the same age as you. So what was it like having influence, that power, but then at the same time knowing that you wasn't like everybody else?
I never cared for the influence. I cared more of making an impact, more of helping other people out on the rise and creating opportunity for people. For me, that was always my biggest thing. I never looked at the influence. I never cared about the following. I never cared about none of that. But one thing I did do was starting the brand at a young age. I always used to attach my social media. Once social media started, everybody knew Jwalker165, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, the YouTube channel. So for me, AIM, BBM, MySpace.
The OGs, yeah.
Local hookups, if you even go that far back, Skull Neck, shit like that. You know, my tag always been the same. So for me, I pushed that, and that's what helped me get it to where I need to go, you know?
Okay, so I have to ask this. Was this all self-taught, or was it like a specific somebody that kind of put you under their wing and taught you the game? Or did you just like duke it out and, you know, kind of roll with it until you picked it up for yourself?
I don't think all of it was self-taught. I definitely picked up a bunch of habits from other people, good habits. You know, I learned a lot from my brother DJ Pro Style. He was one of the older cats when I was younger, 14, 15, that gave me an opportunity. I was affiliated with his All-Pro Camp, which was a DJ crew, just like the Heavy Hitters, for those of y'all that don't know. And I soaked up so much game from him, from going to 106 in Park with him to Power 105 and things like that. But I would say he was one of the only ones besides my parents, you know, and coming up. But other than that, a lot of it was just self-taught and learning from other people's mistakes, because I didn't have to go through shit to learn from it. I seen other people around me go through shit, and that's what I fed off of, you know. That's the best advice I could give to any young bucks that's coming up. Don't follow the drill scene, because it's not going to get you nowhere, you heard? Trust me.
So now that you make that statement, right, let me ask you something, because the movement that you was part of, you know, with so many others, I've seen it grow, but at that time, I feel like the late 2000s and early 2010s was full of creativity. It was full of talent. It was full of a whole bunch of individuals that wanted to make it out. So how do you feel about, you know, the music scene from when you was here running these events, where you had people like, let's say, FX3 with J-Jon, you had the Dessa Twins, you had other people like Loso out, Dynasty that you brought out to New York, you had people that got really above a lot of others like Nawlage, but there was a lot of talent brewing in the BX, and, you know, some of them made it, some of them didn't really get a chance to pop. How do you feel about the music scene compared to then and now? And do you feel like your generation still was like the best one compared to what's going on now in the streets where with these kids rapping?
Yeah, as far as our time, coming up our time, I think that was one of the best movements, as far as like whether it was dancehall, hip hop, anything, the parties, all of that, because obviously we lived it, we came up in it, you know. So for me, I will always cherish those memories, those moments. As far as the music, I think the music was better then than now, not only because we came up to it, but because people actually had to work a lot harder to put it out, and it wasn't so many social media outlets for you to just throw it out there. You had to pull up to these spots. You had to come see me in the club to get your record played so people could hear it, things of that nature, you know. Nowadays, it's just a scary scene. Like I said, the drill scene is nasty. I know a lot of these drill rappers personally, and no discredit to none of them. I love what everybody's doing, but the drill scene, I just give it another 2-3 years, and little by little, it's gonna go downhill, because there's no positivity in it, there's no messages in it, it's nothing, it's all negative, you know. So that's my opinion on it.
So I gotta ask, right? Because like I said before, the whole ENT situation, most of it and a lot of it passed through your hands. If you had to have your pick of the litter, you know what I'm saying, that you felt like was the ones at the top that were like the most creative, the most impactful musically wise. Because even to this day, you know, we have a few people in the room right now, and we still listen to that music. You know what I'm saying? I still wake up on a Sunday or a Saturday and I want to put on a baby tune, or I want to put on a husband and wife or a Dynasty joint. You know what I'm saying? So like if you had your pick of the litter, who was like the guys, like if you had to throw a party and you knew you needed a turnout, but at the same time you was trying to give your fans and your supporters the best experience possible, who was your go-tos to make that happen at the prime of that wave?
Shit. Shout my son J-Jon, man. I ain't gonna lie. I fuck with J-Jon. He was powerful. He still is powerful to this day. And the thing with him, I felt like he should have been blew up. Before,
Facts.
I felt like he was the Joyner Lucas of our time. You feel me? Putting messages out, going viral before viral, things of that nature. So if it was anyone that I think should have blew up from that era, it should have been him. Yeah, he's doing great. He's still doing music, positive things in life, but I feel like 10 years ago he could have been as big as Chris Brown, Little
that's a
Baby,
fact.
you know?
That's a fact.
He was so powerful coming up in our era. As far as knowledge is another one that anytime I would book him, may he rest in peace, my brother, man.
Facts.
I knew he would always sell it out, even to this day. 15 years later, we did a party. You was there.
Yeah,
Not even a year ago. I knew anytime we would put that man on a flyer, guaranteed sold out. And then I don't really know nobody else, honestly, because I never really like to do too many repetitive things. My brother
Okay.
Ron Browse, too, I always did good with him, always showed me love, the Ether
Facts,
Boy.
facts.
He was one of the artists I first seen ever perform at X Bar. For those of y'all that don't know, Sofa Lounge was called X Bar prior to it being Sofa Lounge. And that's where I got my start. It was with a company called CIN. CIN was like the J-Walker, the J-Jon, the Castros,
at that
all
time.
of that. It was just one company. And basically they hired a bunch of popular teens from the city to sell tickets for them. And I happened to be one of those people. So that's how the whole Sofa Lounge thing came about.
Okay.
I studied there, basically everything they was doing, followed the whole blueprint. They got out of there. Maybe a year later, the building was up for rent, and we end up. It was history from there.
Okay.
But yeah, for those of y'all that don't know, X Bar was where it started for a lot of people in the Bronx. And if you don't know about X Bar before Sofa, then you wasn't outside.
Never, but to add on to what he said about J-Jon, bro, I'm not gonna hold you. I was hooked on their music back then, and J-Jon was a good, and I would say now a bad influence, because I can only imagine the amount of Game Boys and a whole bunch of Nintendo shit that niggas burned through when we thought that shit was cool, and now you go on eBay and a Game Boy Color, a fucking Nintendo 64 cartridge is like $100, $300.
Vintage, yeah.
A lot of vintage shit, and we was burning that shit to make chains, accessories. So, you know, the man definitely had a very crazy, you know, hold on the youth in New York City, man. So to move on to the next chapter, I want to ask about the transition, because I know you went from promoter to then being hype man / manager. So how did that go about? You know what I'm saying? And what made you make that transition? Because if you making money, me personally, there's a lot of people that would make money and they'll find they niche or they lane, and they wouldn't want to leave that lane because they know it's secure. So what made you, you know, strap up your boots and be like, nah, let me take a shot at this?
So for me, it all started with Knowledge. So I started off as his hype man, I would say in 2012. By 2015, 16, I became his road manager full time. His management, they left him at the time, and it was basically me and him. We was on the road. I learned the blueprint of management at that time. I had to figure it out because it was just us. So that basically opened the doors for me, not only to deal with other upcoming artists, but other artists on the same time as Knowledge. Anybody that didn't have a manager, I knew that I was useful. I knew a lot of people. I know club owners. I know promoters. So what are we going to do? The same way I manage Knowledge, I'm going to use those same tactics and deal with other artists too. So I don't limit myself to one thing, and that's exactly what I did. And I'm just thankful for that, because a lot of people stay stuck in one avenue. At a young age, I was able to do promotion, do management, do marketing, do hosting, a whole bunch of shit.
Have a whole bunch of different skill sets, yeah.
Yes, sir.
So on that behalf, right, that transition, that decision that you made with that opportunity with Knowledge, did it come smoothly, or was there a sacrifice behind that you needed to make? Because it's like now you have to solely focus on one person. You know, being a manager, I know, is a very serious situation, is a time consuming, and is very responsible. Did that in any way affect your other business? Or did you have to like stop promoting as much to solely focus on this individual?
Nah, hell no. We didn't have to stop promoting. It actually helped all of us to an extent. So as I'm promoting other venues that has nothing to do with Knowledge, we still playing his music at the venue. So we still tying everything hand by hand. And I never really, I was working with him, but like I said, I dealt with other artists. I never put all my eggs in one basket because I ain't want to, God forbid, something happened or didn't go right, and then I'm asked out, you know? So that's just one thing I'm glad I ain't fall back on younger, that's all.
So, which would you say, right? Because I know.
And he got the G-Shock on. I haven't seen
Nah,
one of those
bro.
in a while. He brought it back.
Always.
I had the white one, the black one, the orange, green. For every outfit, I'll switch them shits
I didn't
up.
have one as a teenager, but once I had a chance to put one on my wrist,
It was even the point we start bedazzling them out, putting the fake diamonds on them.
We go to Fordham and
crazy.
get the joints, get gemstoned out.
Times change. Wow.
No, that's a fact. And I'm not gonna hold you. The G-Shock is like one of the many things that from that time still holds its value. The G-Shock never went down in price. It's still 100, 120 a piece, and it stood that way 15, 14 years later.
That's funny.
But throughout this process, right? Can you like tell us what was like your highest and your lowest? You know what I'm saying, between party, promoting, managing, because nobody has a straight through shot where everything stays positive.
Straight run, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So can you like tell us about that?
I don't think anybody just climbs without going down or dealing with some kind of bumps in the road. My favorite saying is life is a beautiful struggle, you know. Damn, that's a good one. I think the lowest for me was when COVID hit. The reason why, right? And I'll break it down. For me, all I knew was clubs.
Facts.
All I knew was promoting full time. That's how I was making a living. So when COVID hit, I couldn't do that no more.
Put a stop to everything.
Right? It made me into a monster. As soon as COVID hit, I started a clothing line, Walker NYC. I started doing this, working with this. It's like the way the timing happened, COVID needed to happen in order for all that to take place. Because if it didn't, I'd probably still be doing the same shit that a lot of the locals are still doing now, you know? So that would be the lowest for me because all the clubs closed, couldn't go out, couldn't hang out with the groups of people, you know, you limited, right. You couldn't travel. Anybody that know Walk, been on taking them airplanes since 12, 13, Young Boy, Dolly, London, Miami, Atlanta, North Carolina, going crazy, throwing parties, hosting parties there. A lot of niggas in my city can't say they did that, and I did that, you heard? And we still doing it. We're not talking about only what we did. Yeah. Because I don't like to talk about what we did. I'm one of them dudes that I don't really care about what I did. I talk about what I'm doing.
Right now.
We still doing it. We still spending that Sofa Lounge money, you heard?
So, in this transition, I know something has got to grow. We've been speaking about how you transitioned from party promotion, marketing, event planning, then you switched over to, you know, management and now the clothing line. So what else have you actually branched into? Do you feel like, is there ever going to be a point where you're just going to be like, all right, this is enough? Or will you always just keep pushing forward? Because I know we've had conversations where you've made a few things that we're going to bring up a bit in the future. But, you know, is there ever a stop to it? Or is this just always going to be you until you take your last breath?
No, I don't plan on doing parties anymore. After this year, this is the last year for me. Any nightlife, this is it. 2025, we wrapping it up. That's the 15-year mark. After that, if you see me in a nightclub, it will only be celebrating a birthday to a friend or a family member. But as far as me throwing any events, this is the last year, and we got a weekly event coming up. So I'm going to let it be known now. In the Bronx, every Friday, starting the 31st, pay attention to my IG, Jwalker165. We bringing good vibes back. Each and every Friday, 21 plus, bottle service, VIPs, all that good shit. So stay tuned for that. And then I didn't answer a part of your last question. I want to go back to that briefly. The highest part, because I only answered the lowest. For me, the highest would be 18, 19 years old. At this point, I'm doing maybe 5 to 6 clubs a week. I'm still doing the clubs full time. This is right before COVID. Life was good. I'm bringing in maybe 10, 15 grand a week. I'm in a strip club every night, making money, drinking for free. So that was pretty cool. Traveling at the same time. Yeah, that was the highest. And yeah, I don't know. I can't really think of nothing else.
So, at the highest of the high, can you tell me, like, out of all the work that you put in, what was your golden goose, like your golden egg, like something that you pulled out of the hat that was so epic that you feel like right now, even till this day, nobody's been able.
No Diddy. That was kind of crazy.
I said I pulled out of the hat with no Diddy. I said the golden goose. But what do you feel like is your golden child, like the event that you know that you went all in, and it just left people in shock until this day? You feel like nobody's been able to touch it.
So it's two segments to that. The first segment would be the childhood segment, which would be Sofa, obviously, because to this day it hasn't been done. Like, it was a group of 4 or 5 people that we made history. We threw parties in Sofa, we threw parties in different boroughs. We brought everybody together. That was the first segment. The second segment for me, I had a run at a strip club called Heaven's Gentlemen's Club in Astoria, Queens. I was there 3 years, every Friday. I brought Machine Gun Kelly there, Ice-T and Coco, Red Cafe, Sin Santana. I mean, but we did Bow Wow's 30th birthday party, Trinidad James. The list goes on. For me, that was a wild time. And I would say if I could go back to any time as an adult, it would be then.
Okay. So it's not just one event, it's a collective, and you kind of categorize them all with like the venues.
Yeah, because each one is different. And you know, when you travel and you start going to different venues and different cultures and trying different foods and shit like that, it's just a whole different experience. But I could name a thousand nights that I say, yo, we could go back to that, or I would never go back to that. But, you know,
okay,
it is what it is.
Okay.
Can't dwell on the past. We just got to keep moving forward.
That's a fact. All right, Walker. So these past like 2 nights, I've been combing through YouTube, combing through a lot of your old videos. We got on the phone. You sent me a few references from your old page on YouTube that I had to dig up, and we kind of came up with 2 of what I believe and what I like to say is some of your iconic parties here at Sofa Lounge, and also over at Tropicana, where I do believe you were celebrating your birthday as well, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
All right, so let's play these real quick for the viewers.
It's classic. He wasn't out there. Don't speak on it. It's that simple.
Bro, that's my cousin on the right-hand corner right there, son.
I know certain people look at this now.
You already know.
Icy, young nigga, icy. Certain things just don't change. Hey.
I'ma play the DJ Marlon.
Hey.
Yeah. You know I'm always
That's my son JT right there.
Yeah. Those guys,
I tell him meet me in the bathroom. I fuck her while the water running.
See
Were
the
you
bump?
there? Were you? Well, first of all, I have to say, bro. Gonna pause
You
that
see
right
the
quick.
bump?
One thing I gotta say, I'm not gonna hold you.
You can turn the camera off.
That's
Thank you, Mom.
That's insane, right? I don't think that something like this would fly now with these youngins. Like, and just to look at these videos and see people like 14, 15 years old on some go-go dancer shit inside cages, Bronx whining, that I feel like if parents nowadays see some shit like that, they'd be like, what the not my kid.
Now, let me ask you a question. From you seeing that video, did you know that club was a strip club before the regular club?
No.
Those cages used to have stripper poles in them. It used to be a strip club, for those of y'all that don't know.
Okay.
So
I did not know
that's-
that.
yeah.
Because I've heard of Tropicana, because I know I come from a music background. My father's a salsero, so I know they would hire like old school salsa bands and shit like that back then to like perform.
Classic.
But I didn't know that club actually had like that background or like that in it.
Yeah, so the Tropicana you talking about, originally it was just one big building.
Okay.
Then when they reinvented it, because as one shit goes bad, you got to reinvent yourself. Same
Facts.
thing with anything in life. And in that case, they opened up 2 clubs. They broke one club down and they split it up into 2. The left side with you seen there with the cages was the strip club, and the right side where DJ Flipstar was the regular club.
Okay.
But they took the poles out before that party because they couldn't have the poles in there with the kids.
No, of course, yeah, because it's like
that.
it's a liability. It's
Yes,
it's an adult scene. It doesn't really seem too
Crazy.
Yeah, but that is wicked. Like,
Seen the butt kick though? My boy going crazy.
nah, yeah, it was going.
The
ham.
Bronx wine. Our generation put that shit on the map.
No, that's a
Our
fact.
generation and the dancehall music, Knowledge, Dynasty, those guys was heavy on that.
Okay.
Egyptian, Indian, who else? Mitch, shout out Mitch. Who else? It was a bunch of dancehall artists that was really heavy during that time that created that whole lane. And we was a part of that.
So let me ask you something, right? Because now that you bring up the Bronx one, did you see, like, when they tried to revive it, like, 2 years ago? Like, in 2023, where, like, I forgot her name.
It don't even matter the name, but at this point, something like that, you got to have one of the originators.
Facts.
In order for it to go anywhere. That's point blank, period.
I know they try to do it on TikTok. They try to revise it, and I think it was, like, Hood Celebrity made a track. And
Oh, I know Hood.
Yeah.
I know Hood. I used to manage Hood, actually.
Okay.
Good People's Tina is her new name now. She don't go by Hood Celebrity. Shout out to her. My man Shaft is her manager.
Okay.
I actually spoke to him not too long ago on the phone. Hood Celebrity, I managed her before she signed with him. I
Okay.
was the first one to get her record played on the radio in New York City.
That's tough. So, be honest with me. Like, how does it make you feel looking back on these events and seeing that you still got it? No matter how you try to spin it off, you throw an event, you say it's gonna be active, and that's how it shows up. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's like my first event that I ever went to that was yours was last year in June. And
Yeah, you a late bloomer in the game, my
bro,
boy.
it's not a late bloomer.
I should be
like
talking
I
to
said,
Sis instead, because she
Bro.
was there.
My father would put belt to ass if he even knew I was outside.
Yeah, that's
my
crazy.
sister was different. She
I
lived with her
got
moms.
to meet Pops because he's a good guy
My
for that.
father kept me from the streets. My sister had to argue with Papi and be like, Papi, let Robert come outside. And he'd be like, he got to be home at 11.
Nah,
and she
but
look at him like
it's
he
funny you
crazy.
say that, though, bro, because it was a lot of people that same way that came up
Yeah.
in the same households that would find their way there. And they parents would come to the door, yo, Tamika, see if she's in there, yo. I used to get on the stage, yo, Tamika Johnson, your mother's outside right now. Everybody in the crowd going crazy.
clown.
So we dealt with things like that too. It was amazing. We even had parents get cool with the adults that were staff.
Okay.
And felt more comfortable to bring their kids to our
Facts,
events.
facts.
That's how it became more successful throughout the years.
So it was a
you
trust
know?
from the community,
hell
parents,
yeah.
and all that.
And the thing that worked for us was Castro was the adult. He was the
Facts.
face of the whole situation. He might have not played a big part outside of that, but he was the one that locked in the venues for us. He was the
Facts,
one
facts.
that booked the artists and did things like that because he was the adult. People didn't want to respect us because we was the kids.
Facts.
Yeah, we was the machine behind it. We was the one making it happen, making sure people pull up, doing the marketing X, Y, and Z. But the whole operation, everybody played a part. I
Okay.
say that to say that.
Nah, that's dope. You know, Castro's name definitely moves around. I've definitely been hearing about him since I was a youngin. Castro, your squad, All Pro. You know, shout out to the other ones that I'm not gonna hold you. I was a fanboy from afar, but you know, FX3, the Dessa twins as well. Like those are all just people that really made our childhood lit. And to be honest, I feel bad for the new generation because they don't have an outlet like
nasty.
this. You know what I'm saying? You can't really throw an event nowadays for youngins and expect it to end peacefully, or you know, where people just
It
having
won't.
a good memory.
Too much problems. This hood got problems with that hood. This person don't like that person. It's a chain reaction. I don't want no parts of that.
I wish that these kids had the opportunity to experience the experiences that we had as youngins. You know what I'm saying? Just to be able to step into a venue, really enjoy yourself.
I
And
wish you was at Sofa Lounge, because the way you was talking was like you was there, bro. I'm not gonna lie, but I fuck with it, though.
Bro, I ain't gonna hold you. I'm glad I didn't go to those events. I would probably ended up like my father, 17 with a kid. I'm Gucci.
Yeah, nah, that's a fact. Because it was a lot of younger kids from that generation having a kid, 2 kids, 3 kids. I'm like, yo, I'm 31. I still don't got 1 kid. I'm like,
facts,
damn,
me too.
like,
I'm about to be 32 now,
crazy.
1 to my name. But yo, let's move into the second one, man. This is clips, and actually a very core memory for me. I was mad hype when I showed up to this. This was the Nawlage versus Dynasty, the Sofa Lounge reunion at the Garden over here on Tremont Ave, man.
This was the second one. We did a performance with Nawlage there 3 months before this. It was way more packed than that. Classics. And some Lito in the back, he was outside for that.
Yo, watching this, no cap, it makes it feel like a time capsule. Because it's just like the way I look at it is like everybody that was on that line, that sofa, is literally in this room.
Reunion.
Facts.
Thanks to you for coming and getting that on camera. Because if not,
respectfully, I gotta thank you for that. Because I'm not gonna hold you.
That was the day you reached out to me, and we initially kicked it off.
I'm not gonna hold you. A lot of people that stood in this space while I was growing up, you could reach out to a lot of them, and they just leave you on red. So when I reached out to Jwalker, I was just throwing a Hail Mary to keep it a buck with you. I was like, bro, I know he's throwing the event. Let me holler at him on Facebook. See if he give me permission to record, because I don't like going into nobody's event with my camera out without getting permission.
Yeah, that's some weirdo shit.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I reached out, homie blessed me, and then he went even a mile and a half farther than that. I was like, yo, be there at this time. I'm going to be here with the artists. Shoot your interviews, and then, you know what I'm saying, make sure you get a good spot afterwards so you get the stage. So that was like very humbling, because not a lot of people are willing to show support, and especially for me that at the time I still barely had like less than a year in video experience. You know what I'm saying? I've had my little hits here and there, but nothing to this extent, and I was 100% there like fanboying. I'm not gonna hold you, bro, and I feel ashamed to fucking admit this, but when you introduced me to Dynasty, I didn't even know who he was, respectfully, because I knew Dynasty off of his music. I never had like a physical image of him, because all of my friends were listening to his music, but I didn't know who he was. So he was like, yo, talk to my mans. And I'm just like, who is this dude? Because I know Nawlage, like, you know, his image. I've seen him on the TV. I know who he was. I'm a fan of his, but never really had a physical image of Dynasty till like I shot the interview, and then one of my friends was like, yo, you know who that is?
It's funny you say that, because I always looked at it the other way around.
Okay.
I felt like Dynasty had the image with the music and Nawlage didn't, because when you say, yo, Nawlage is performing here, if you don't know his music, it's like, who the fuck is Nawlage? but you play one of the 10 or all 10 of them bitches back to back, you gonna sing all of them and you gonna
Yeah.
know the song. So speaking from experience, I could tell you it was definitely the other way around. Knowledge was more of the artist that his music was bigger than the name.
Okay.
If that makes sense, you know?
Okay, that's what's up. Man, it's like, man, to me, it was just an honor being part of this event. It was an honor being there. And then on top of that, I also want to give you your props because the level of professionalism at that event, no tussles, no hassles, everything was a good vibe. It was the first time as an adult that I stepped into a venue space in the Bronx and just felt, I wouldn't say at peace, but the vibe was right. Everybody was there for the music.
He basically saying he came to the Sofa Lounge reunion 14 years later. That's basically what he's saying, because that's
No,
how it
yeah.
went down.
No, that was definitely
I'm just glad you
my
was
makeup.
you was a part of the second phase of it, you know, because the first phase, incredible. You had
Yeah,
to be
I
there,
wish I
like
could
you
have been
said.
there, but June was like, it was amazing for me as a fan, but also as a videographer. It was something that I was proud and I was excited to be part
Nah,
of.
that's what's up, bro. And I'm just glad I was able to help with that, you know, because me coming up, I'm going to tell you why I did it. I see a lot of you and what you doing in my camera guy, Johnny Productions, who
Okay.
now is Edgar Berlanga, professional boxer, full-time chef/cameraman.
Yeah, you
And
introduced him to me.
Yeah, the day of
Yeah.
my birthday. He started off same way, and it was just me and him. So when you hit me up, like I seen a lot of him in you, and
I appreciate that.
support what you doing, and I want you to know anything you need from me, I'm on deck.
I appreciate that, bro, respectfully, because it's like I said, I come into this as a fan, but knowing that I could, like, you know what I'm saying, count on you on that level is an honor.
Nothing but love, my
You know what I'm
God.
saying? So to keep this moving, I will now want to go into kind of like after the evolution, the grinding, you know what I'm saying, the stacking. How does it feel now, you know what I'm saying, to do things? Because I'll be watching you on IG sometimes, and I just want to know, what's it like?
Like what? Give me an example though.
Bro, the way you be developing land. I be seeing that. You know what I'm saying? The way you be like, yo, we out here. Or sometimes you just taking a quick stroll when you passing through Motown. You know what I'm saying? Like, but most of all, in the era that we in and the economy that we in, being a man that's 30 and being a homeowner before that, you know, how did you grasp that and how did you gain access to that?
Oh, well, I'll answer the gain access part. The gain and access part, obviously doing the homework. You gotta wanna learn about something. You gotta wanna do something. For me, wanting to get into being a homeowner was growing up, nobody in my family owned anything. Just
Okay.
a vehicle. You understand? I had one aunt that lived upstate New York. She had a house, and every summer we would go up there, spend a week at the house, beautiful land in the back. And I always used to say, when I grow up and I'm an adult, I will love something like this, right? Fast forward to now, work hard, put in all the work, you do your homework, yada, yada. My house is 2 times bigger than my aunt's house. That I used to say I wanted to have the same shit, basically. And I say that to say this. You got to have a vision. It starts with a vision. That's 1. 2, you got to set goals. 3, execution.
Okay.
You got to execute. You're going to fail. Sometimes on the way up, you're going to come down. But never get discouraged. You got to want to do it. You got to want to do it, and you got to want to be different. For me, she was the only one that owned property, that owned the house. So I said to myself, I'm going to have that when I get older, and now I got it.
Okay.
You got to want it.
So if you can emphasize a little bit on the goals, right? It's like, what do you mean by goals? Is it like, do you have to sacrifice? Because I'm going to keep it above with you. I see us in the
Sacrifice
environment.
every day.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I see
Everything
the
is a
environment we
sacrifice.
in. You see a lot of people nowadays, they rather pay $300, $400 for a pair of Jordans and then not have money to get on a bus. You know what I'm saying? Do you feel like part of that sacrifice has to be like financial and like mental as well? Because, you know what I'm saying? It don't mean to be the flyest dude on the block and be broke.
But that's how it is a lot of the time. A lot of the fly dudes is the
Yeah.
broke ones. right?
Yeah.
All the dudes that I know that wear Mary, none of them really got bread in their pocket. None of them really owe nothing.
Facts.
They really live in their mom's house. Step in piss every night walking in the building.
So do you
You
feel
cool
like
with that?
No, hell no. Hell no.
You gotta want more. You see where
Yeah,
I'm going
that's a
with
fact,
it. I
yeah.
got tired of that every night. I came up in housing. I know what it's like to eat the same shit 2 or 3 days
Yeah.
straight, to wear the same outfit for 5 days. These sneakers cost $350 right here. I bought these before I bought the house. I ain't spending $350 now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
It's needs and wants. You gotta know what's the necessity,
Facts,
and you
yeah.
gotta put what's priority first. That's all.
You could be fly later. I'd rather stack up and buy a house.
Not even fly, bro. It's where I live now, bro. I'm in the mountains. Where I live now, all my neighbors is retired.
Okay.
75, 80 years old. Probably got like 5 or 10 years left. God with them, right? Bro, these dudes, acres, $1 million properties, businesses, Walmart shoes, $5, $10 shoes on the rack in Walmart. No brand T-shirt, Carhartt or some Dickies.
Yeah.
Simple shit. I think I'm gonna keep it 100 because I travel to so many states. I think that shit is more of a New York thing. Like anywhere that it's a big demographic of people and social media is heavily influenced. Just the New York mindset. Everybody wanna shine. Everybody's a superstar. Everybody's doing something. Everybody got the drip on and this and that. Like you going shopping to buy an outfit to go out to a club. Why you can't wear an outfit from 2 months ago? Who seen you in that outfit? But it's the thing in the head.
the mindset,
I gotta look right. I gotta make sure the joint see me tonight. I might try to pull something.
Yeah.
I gotta be the flyest nigga in the room so everybody can see me. That shit is an illusion, bro. Mind over matter. You gotta stop paying mind to the shit that don't matter. You heard?
And stop caring about how other people look at you, man. Because at the end of the day, those
don't
dudes you
matter.
trying to impress ain't the dudes that's gonna pay your rent. You heard?
And not only that, they got nothing to show for, bro.
That's a fact.
Nothing to show for. I'm gonna keep it 100. All the dudes I looked up to growing up are bums now. They got nothing, bro. All the dudes that had money, that was getting money with motion in the street, hitting all the joints, got nothing. 1/3 of them locked up, 1/3 of them dead, and the other third got nothing, bro. Nothing to show for.
Nothing to show
Just
for it,
talking
yeah.
about what they did 15 years
Stories,
ago.
yeah.
I don't want to hear that, brother. I want to hear what you're doing right now. Don't talk to me about nothing in the past. Let's talk about what we doing now or how we going to get more money in the future. That's the time I'm on, you heard?
And since you just said that, what we doing right now and money in the future, I want to cross over because podcasting is only like one lane that I've been getting into in this past 2 years that I've been building up my skill sets.
It's an avenue.
So what you doing right now, let me ask you, because we're going to step over into another lane that I enjoy, and that's one of my biggest passions, the gaming space. Right, what you're doing right now with what you mentioned earlier in the podcast with Jwalker NYC. I remember us having a conversation, and one time you hit me up and you was like, "Yo, Rob, you play Grand Theft Auto?"
Yeah.
And then
I
you
hit
told
you
me
so you could join up on the squad.
So, what made you take your investment in your creation that is Jwalker NYC and digitize it and bring it into the gaming space?
Everybody's in the game. So it started in COVID too.
Okay.
That was when the idea hit. COVID came. Everybody's playing game. We had like a group called the Millie Boys. Every day, all day, every day. We 12 hours gaming. We on a chat. We playing. I say, yo, we going to buy clothes in the stores, changing up outfits. I found a way to get my logo in the game from the clothing line. The same exact way that I got it on my shit, it's in the game. So people could join up, and if you want to support the clothing line in the game, you could too. So that's something new that I just jumped into, but the clothing line is dope. WalkerNYC.com, 10% off at checkout with discount code WOKER for all first-time customers. So thank me
make
later.
sure y'all put that. I'm gonna put that in the description, man. Y'all go into Walkers. We're gonna have the website for the brand, and then make sure you guys remember that code WOKER, and you'll get 10% off at the checkout.
Yes, sir. We got a pet company too, BougieBarkNYC.com.
For
So
my dog
anybody that
lovers.
got a pet, not only dog, pets.
Oh, word?
We do pet clothing. We do sweaters for the pets, coats, accessories, bows, leashes, collars. Anything that got to do with a pet, we tapping into
All
a whole
of it?
different market. Anything.
Okay.
Anything.
Sky's the limit on that.
This
Okay.
the difference between doing the norm and trying to do
Okay.
something different, stepping out that box. You know, we doing all of that here.
Nah, 'cause-
So you want to get money, you want to come on a winning team, come join
When you
up,
hear
man.
pet, you automatically go to, because when it comes to accessories and shit
Pet
like that, you
smart,
automatically.
Petco, right?
Nah, I just automatically think dogs. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like when it comes to accessories, it's always your dog. And this one's guilty of it behind the camera. She got my little nephew Zeus,
You
and
go
she got
on-
this nigga clothes out the
You
ass.
you go on the Bougie Bark NYC, just like that. Bougie
Okay.
Bark NYC on the Instagram, you will see. We got rabbits wearing shirts. We
Fire.
got cats wearing sweaters. We got all type of shit. You know, that's the new company that we building now, fairly new within the last
Okay.
2 years. But little by little, you know, everything is a growing experience, and I'm loving every part of it.
Hey man, that's that. I can't put it no better than that, bro. This man is the embodiment of lane switching, of never stopping, and always finding a new way to make money. And you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm not gonna hold you. I'm gonna give you my hand because I respect that about you.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
And
brother.
To end this off, man, I want to send y'all off with some words of positivity. So, Walker, to anybody that's right now in the town, if they was to walk up to you right now and be like, yo, man, I want to do what you do, what words of wisdom or what guidance can you give that individual?
I mean, well, it depends on what I do, because I do multiple things. So it all depends. But the best advice I would give anybody is set the goals, be consistent, know what you're doing it for, but don't get sidetracked, because it's easy to get sidetracked when you got your mindset on the prize. And don't let people discourage you. Sometimes it be the closest ones to you, whether it's friends or family,
That's a
trying to
fact.
shut down a vision or a goal or a dream. Certain times you can't let people know what you're going to do before you do it. You just got to do it.
Facts.
And let them see. You feel
Facts.
me? That's the best advice I could give. But who am I? I'm not Steve Jobs. I'm not none of these big wigs. I'm just J-Walker from the Bronx. That's it.
Yes.
Don't be like me. Be better than me. That's how I end the conversation,
facts.
too.
So, to all of our watchers out there, man, this is 2025. I want to start off by saying Happy New Year to y'all, man. Make sure that y'all have many blessings, many
Yes, sir.
opportunities financially. And I just want to let y'all know, man, don't ever let nobody stop you from what you want to do, man.
Yeah.
In a year's time, I went from sitting down in an empty table where I invited 20 individuals and I saw myself by myself. I decided to hit the reset button, and a year later, man, I hit that tunnel vision, 2 million views on YouTube, 2 podcasts, streaming networks, and now in 2025, we're going to go even harder, man. So don't let nobody that's next to you try to gas you and keep you from something that you got in your mind. If it's able to get in your mind, make sure you figure out a way to turn that into a physical.
Yes, sir. And with that being said, right, everything that glitter ain't gold, and every nigga with money ain't solid. We're going to leave it like
That's
that.
a fact. You know what it is. Your boy Luminati15, J-Walker, Talk That Shit podcast, and we coming to y'all directly all 2025. You know the fucking vibes.
Yes, sir.